everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about my little dog Reese because she is celebrating her 10th birthday. And I just wanted to do a little video about her because it's a big milestone for her reaching her 10th birthday. She's not usually allowed on the furniture, but because it's her birthday, we'll make an exception. So this is Reese. She's 10 years old. I've had her since she was 8 weeks old, so we've been through a lot together. I'm gonna just take her sweater off so you guys can see how cute she is. She's an Imperial Shih Tzu, which is basically a mini Shih Tzu, and she weighs 7.5 pounds. I got her when she was 8 weeks old. She was just a little ball of fluff, and she weighed 2.2 pounds at that time, and she looked a lot bigger than she was, but it was all fur. She was just this little fluff ball. It was so cute. The reason I got an Imperial Shih Tzu was because, first of all, my family had an Imperial Shih Tzu named Lola. She was the sweetest dog, so gentle. So good with everyone, good with kids, and she was just a great family dog. I fell in love with her, and when I decided I wanted to get a dog, I was looking into Imperial Shih Tzus. So I decided to get a dog because I knew I was going to start travel nursing and I wanted to have a companion with me, so I got a dog, and she's been the best little companion ever. So at the time I was living in Canada, and I found a breeder there who lived a couple hours away from where I lived and bred Imperial Shih Tzus. So she sent me a few pictures of Reese. So as soon as I saw her pictures, I knew I had to have her because she was so cute. Reese is Canadian, but the breeder had told me that her parents were from Belgium. So I drove a couple of hours and I met the breeder halfway, and at the time I had a convertible Mustang, and I don't think we put the top down because it was already enough to deal with a little puppy. My sister had come with me and we picked up my little dog who I named Reese. And yeah, that was the start of all our adventures together. So she actually is a really good traveler. She rides super calm in the front seat of the car. In the winter, I'll put the heated seat on for her. Or if we're flying, she flies in her carrier bag, and she just feels secure in that, and she travels really well. She has been on so many flights. During takeoff, she gets a little bit anxious, but then she settles right down and sleeps the whole flight. She took about a year to potty train. I would take her out multiple times a day, and I just remember thinking, I will never get a puppy again because this is so hard. But once she was a year, she just got it. And I guess that's common in Shih Tzus. They can be stubborn, is what I read. But yeah, she eventually learned to always go outside. She does some signature tricks. She can shake paw, she can roll over.
Roll over, roll over, roll over, roll over, roll over, roll over.
She's a smart little girl. She's a well-traveled little dog, so she traveled with me to California. When I was a travel nurse in California, she lived with me in Hollywood, and she lived with me in San Diego. So I've always called her my little California girl because she just loved it there. We were always outside, we were always going on hikes. And then after California, we moved to downtown Chicago, so she's definitely a big city girl. One of my friends lives in the Caribbean, and Reese has traveled with me to St. Croix to visit her. So she's seen Caribbean waters. So a couple of years ago, she just suddenly was refusing to walk, and that was not like her at all, so I knew something was up. She usually gets super excited for her walks and is jumping all over the place, and she just didn't want to take those steps. So I took her to an emergency vet, and they had thought that perhaps she slipped a disc in her back, which is called degenerative disc disease from jumping off the bed or jumping off the couch. They put her on some pain medication, and they said to keep her in a crate for a week and see how she does. This girl hates a crate, so I knew she was really not feeling well when she just stayed in the crate. I tried to crate train her when she was younger, and she was just not having it. So it was really hard to be away from her because I knew she wasn't feeling well and I didn't want to leave her. I think someone actually covered a few of my shifts just because I was having such a hard time with it. So I crated her for a week and was hoping for some improvement, but about a week later, she just got so much worse overnight, and I could just tell she was in a lot of pain. So I took her back to the emergency vet, and this time there were more signs going on. She wasn't walking straight. She was walking against the wall and against furniture, which was something new. There were some other signs. Her pupils weren't reacting to light. So this time they thought it was something neurological going on. So they said I could do an MRI of her brain to see exactly what might be causing this. The neurologist pretty much diagnosed her without even having the MRI, but that confirmed it, that she had spots on her brain that were swelling and inflamed. And so they diagnosed her with meningitis, encephalitis, which I did not know was common in small dogs, and it's autoimmune. In humans, it's usually caused by a virus or a bacteria, but in dogs, it's almost always autoimmune. So yeah, they diagnosed her with meningitis, encephalitis, which is swelling of her brain and spinal cord. Right away, they started her on steroids to help bring the swelling down, and they started her on chemo to help lessen the reactivity of her immune system. So they put her in puppy ICU, and it was so sad to visit her. I just remember her being so happy to see me when I visited her. So one thing that did happen from all of this is that she lost her eyesight, and for a while I was hoping it would improve, but I'm pretty sure she's fully blind. Sometimes I think she can maybe see shadows, but she adapted pretty well. I know some dogs can go through like a depressed period when they go blind, but she actually adapted really well. She never was depressed. If it was a new environment, she would bump into things, and that's why I don't let her on the couch anymore or on the bed, because she can't get off. She's afraid to jump because she can't see. So now she just stays on ground level and she's okay with that. She is getting older, so I don't want her to hurt herself. But yeah, so just to protect her, I keep her off of furniture, I keep her off the bed because she can't see. So they didn't know if the medication was gonna work. I remember them giving me certain percentages of whether she would recover. I think it was like a 10 to 15% chance that she would fully recover. Anyway, so she went through the chemo injections, which I had to do at home. And it was an injection right under the skin here. And I would just inject it every, I can't remember, I think it was every week we were doing it. That went on for about, I believe, 8 weeks. And then she stopped the chemo, and when she was on high dose prednisone, for her size, it was pretty high dose. And we slowly weaned her off of that over 6 months. At the time, I was looking into other ways to help with inflammation. My aunt had her dog on papaya enzymes for inflammation, so I started Reese on papaya enzymes, and she gets one in the morning in a piece of liver and one in the evening. I've been doing that for years, ever since she was sick, and she gets that every day. Even now she gets it, and she does really well on it. She's also had a bit of colitis her whole life, and I feel like it helps with that as well. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of tell you about her, why it's such a big milestone for her to reach her 10th birthday, because they didn't know if she was going to make it. She was such a sick little doggy at that time. They didn't know if she was going to recover. So yeah, it's a big milestone for her to reach double digits, and she's actually doing really well. Other than not having her eyesight, she's doing really well. She still loves her walks. She still gets super excited. She loves to play with her toys. She still gets super excited to go outside. She's mostly good with the baby. He likes to chase her with his toys, so that freaks her out a little bit, and I have to separate them. But otherwise, they're pretty good with each other. So yeah, this is a big day for her to reach her 10th birthday. I'm super excited she's here on her 10th birthday, and she's doing well. She's always had this puppy face. She's looked the same ever since she was 1. And she just recently got a haircut, which is why I have the sweater on her, so she doesn't shiver, because her hair is pretty short right now, and it's about 50 degrees out. Otherwise, she usually has like a grandma coat of fur. I like her hair short. I think it makes her look more like a puppy, but a lot of people like her hair long. So yeah, that's Reese's story. So if you have any questions about Reese or Imperial Shih Tzus in general, just leave your questions and comments down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get all my new videos. Alright you guys, thank you so much for watching.